Hello guys and welcome to Wicked Pixels. Here is another build guide, this time for the Silent. This one is crazy. It's probably the best build I've made so far in all the runs that I've been doing in Spire 2. It's really a real powerhouse that focuses on discarding, which is one of the most broken mechanics in the game. That said, I should have to let you know before I watch the videos, this build didn't actually make it past the Doormaker, the last boss. There's a reason being, obviously there's been a few iterations of that boss. The current one is a little bit broken for certain builds, and unfortunately this is one of the builds that just doesn't, you just can't really find a way to get past it. So it's basically punishing you for reusing cards and redrawing and things like that. So this is specifically about discarding and redrawing new cards to apply effects. So therefore it made that boss very, very hard. That said, there's a new patch coming out soon where the Doormaker has been completely gotten rid of, and there's going to be a different boss in place. So don't worry too much about that. And also you do have the option of hitting a different boss, which will be absolutely fine. So let's have a little look at the build, let's see how it works, and then we'll come back together. We'll talk you through the cards and how to get this build off the ground. Alright. So as you've just seen, incredibly powerful build, loads of fun to get this one going. So it's a build that's going to focus on using poisons and discard and sly effects to basically get loads of different poisons built up on the enemy and then kill them really, really quickly. So I'll run you through the card list. We'll talk about which cards are the key cards that you need to look out for and which ones that are in the deck that we probably could have done without or could have removed. So we have got a 26 card deck, which is pretty on the enormous side. But because we've got so much card draw, you definitely don't mind too much. So let's just have a quick flick through. So we do have some strikes still in the build. We would have happily have got rid of these. They weren't really helping us at all. And the normal defense we would also happily have got rid of. So potentially that could have been another 5 cards to cut. Obviously we start with Ascender's Bane because we're currently on Ascension rank 9. But obviously that's just something we just have to work around. Here's one of the main cards. So Bubble is a really important card in building up poison stacks very quickly. It's not completely necessary for the build to be running, but it is really helpful in just managing those stacks. And because we're using Mirage to build up some blocks, having this go on for an extra 12 poison is going to kill the enemies much quicker. It's also going to help us block out as well to survive the turns before the enemy dies. So Bubble, really good shout. Make sure you pick this one up. Outbreak is incredible. It's a 1 cost. I didn't end up upgrading this. It's going to do 11 damage every time we apply free poison. That's going to happen consistently throughout the run, so make sure you pick this one up if you can. And it is AoE damage as well, which is usually where poison builds tend to struggle. This makes sure that you are hitting consistently across all the enemies in the battle. We've got Calculated Gamble, which is incredible. It's a really, really strong card, and we actually got very lucky and hit Soul's Power quite late in the game, so this causes the card not to exhaust. So this is a card that when you upgrade it will add Retain, which is quite useful, so make sure you do that. This is going to discard your hand and then draw that many cards. So there's a lot of reasons why this is incredible. Mainly because it interacts with Sly. By discarding your hand, it's going to play all the Sly cards you've got in your hand, but it's also going to draw lots of cards depending on how many we discard, and that's going to interact really well with another card we've got in the deck, which is going to help us to apply lots of poison. The fact that we took exhaust off this just means that we can play this consistently a number of times rather than just in one big turn. So really powerful Soul's Power on this, but even without it, really good, and you should probably pick up 2 of these if you can. We mentioned strikes, we want to get rid of those. So Shadow Step, I started off the run with Shadow Step, it dropped in quite early. If I'm being honest with you, I think this works better in a different kind of build. I thought the discard synergy would work pretty well, and in some cases it did save us a little bit. It just gives us a different card that can discard Sly cards out of our hands to gain the benefits. But generally speaking, we didn't really play this very often just because of the way that our build synergized. So this could be incredible in, I think, something like a Shiv build, but in the build that we ended up with, I think it didn't quite have a place. That's not to say it's a bad card, it is very strong, it just wasn't the best card that we had. In most of the turns it wasn't our optimal choice to play. We then had Prepared. These are the bread and butter of your discard, your Sly builds for the Silent. So I would recommend picking up at least 2 of these. If you can get a 3rd in there, that's probably great. So this is going to synergize with loads of things going on. First of all, we're going to get the option to discard 2 cards. Make sure you do upgrade this one, by the way. So it goes from a draw 1 to a draw 2 and a discard 1 to a discard 2. So just makes it incredibly powerful. So we're going to draw through our deck much quicker with these. So effectively these cards are going to replace themselves with 2 more cards. Then we're going to get the option to discard, and in most cases we've got Slide cards to discard and get the benefit of, but it's also going to synergize with our poison that's going through our build. So these are solid cards, even though they're common, they're absolutely broken. I think at some point this probably gets patched into a 1 cost just because it is so broken. But yeah, really good. These can help with infinite combos as well, so this will work in loads of builds. Make sure you pick up, I would pick up at least 2 of them, maybe 3 at a push. So Accelerant is incredible. It's a really powerful power. The fact it only costs 1 is insane, and when you upgrade it, it's going to make your poisons trigger an additional 1 or 2 times. So not ordinarily, when you play a poison onto an enemy at the beginning of their turn, it's going to tick, and then it's going to subtract 1 from the poison total. So if you've got 12 poisons on the enemy, start of the turn, ticks, they take 12 poison, and it ticks down to 11. Then you're going to have to wait a full turn, and then you're going to do another 11 damage unless you've added more poison, and it's going to tick down to 10 and so on. This makes it tick 2 more times. So you're going to do 12 damage, then 11, and then 10 in a single turn, which is absolutely broken. So absolutely put this in any deck where you're doing poison. It is insane, and probably one of the best cards in the game right now. We've got Decay, which was forced on us, and we didn't unfortunately have a chance to remove this, but because we had so much discard in the deck, it doesn't really matter too much, so another card that we could happily have got rid of. And then we've got Well Laid Plans. Now the reason why this was really useful early on, before we managed to get enough card draw effects in our deck, was that it helped us hold on to the key cards that we needed. So something like a what's it called? Our Survivor. If we hold on to a Survivor and we've got that for the next turn, when there's a big amount of damage incoming, we know we can discard one of our Sly cards, so a really good option to hold on to. Basically any really powerful card that we didn't manage to play on that turn, we hold on to it. Hopefully when the next lot of cards come in, we get to play it and have a nice big turn. So for me, it's a really useful card, and I would recommend we pick that up. I've lost it now, Well Laid Plans. Try and upgrade this one. I didn't manage to do that myself, but then you can retain up to 2 cards. You can even hold on to combo cards and just play both of them together in the next turn when they're going to be a little bit more impactful. So really solid card, definitely worth picking up. We then had this one. So early on in the game, we were struggling a little bit with our block. That's sometimes the way we had our poison build online. It wasn't quite flowing quickly enough, and we were finding that we were catching quite a bit of damage. So Piercing Well just helps you survive a tough turn, especially when you've got multiple enemies, and especially those enemies who've got multiple attacks. So certain fights around about floor 2 is where this is going to come in really useful, and there was a couple of floor 3 fights as well. I think hopefully you saw one of them in the video. Subtracting 8 doesn't seem like a big thing. It's essentially 8 block. That's how the best way to look at it. But if you times that by the number of enemies that there are, let's say there's 2 enemies, then effectively you're saving yourself 16 potential health. If there's 3 enemies, that's 24 potential health, and so on. So actually a really strong card in certain fights, and it's worth having one of these in your deck. Don't forget it does exhaust, so it's only 1 use only, just helps you survive a big turn. But if you've got prepared, then you can hold on to this and then use it on the turn that's going to be most effective. We've then got Neutralize. Obviously it's just a stock card. It's really useful. Always upgrade this straight away if you can. It's going to apply 2 weak, which means it's going to be 2 turns of the enemy doing less damage, which is usually really powerful. Saves us lots of health, so always use this as much as you can. We've then got Hidden Daggers. This was our early discard card that we picked up. It was the first one we picked up. I probably would remove this at this point because we've already got prepared in the deck, just to kind of limit the amount of things that we've got just clogging it up. But the discard, the reason why I would say probably not a priority for this one is it doesn't actually draw your cards. That said, it does make you 2 shivs, so it would be really useful in other build, and it is useful sometimes in creating cards that you can discard instead of cards that you already have in your hand. So it is quite useful, just not the most optimal card that we have in the deck, but always as a 0 cost, always worth a shout. Mirage was incredible in a poison deck, especially one that can add lots of poison very quickly. So having the bubble, adding a huge amount of poison in one with 1 energy, just boost your Mirage potential quite quickly. So you can upgrade this to be 0 cost, and you're going to gain block equal to poison on all enemies. Because we're doing AoE poison, we're going to have lots of poison stacked up on all the enemies very quickly, which means we can then hold on to this using our prepared, and then we can use it on a turn where we really need a huge amount of block. So really useful card. I ended up putting 2 of these in the deck, and they came in clutch on a few occasions, so really good card to have in the deck. Reflex is just a really nice Sly card, of which we have a number in here. It's going to help us draw into cards and help us draw into the ones that we need. So with some prepared pluses in there, we're then going to get into Reflex. Hopefully we discard this, we draw 3 more cards, and we find more cards that we need. The drawing 3 cards is also going to synergize with one of our last cards that I'm going to show you, which is really key to the build. Survive we've mentioned, solid block card, really efficient, 11 block once upgraded, which is awesome for 1, but also crucially helps us discard a card. So you could easily discard your Untouchable, which is a Sly block card, going to add a chunk more block onto the top of there. You can easily discard your Haze, anything like that costs 3 or 2. That's going to give us a nice amount of block or poison on the enemy. So Survive is a really key card for us, and we really like this one in our build. So Haze is one of our other Sly cards, which is quite crucial. This is going to put AoE poison on all enemies. It costs 3, but we're never going to play it for free. We're looking to discard this every single time and just quickly stack up some poison. Just getting poison on all the enemies, so we can use Bubble very quickly to stack that up and kill them very fast. So Haze is awesome. Always pick this up if you're doing a discard build, which you probably should be. And Untouchable, we added 2 of these with the aim of getting rid of all our normal blocks. These are 2 cost, very poor efficiency. You can upgrade to 8, again still poor, but we're never going to play it for 2, we're going to play it for nothing because we're going to discard it every single time. So Untouchable, really good card to put in your discard build, so make sure you pick that one up as well. And finally, what is for me the linchpin of this particular build is Corrosive Wave. So this says whenever you draw a card this turn, you're going to apply 2 poison to all enemies. We can upgrade this to 3 poison. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get the chance to do that, which is criminal. What we're looking to do here, we're going to apply 3 poison, and don't forget we've got Outbreak on the enemies. So every time we apply, every 3 times we apply poison, we're going to deal 15 damage to all enemies. So with Corrosive Wave running, whenever you draw a card, you're going to apply 2 or 3 poison to all enemies. And we've got cards like Calculated Gamble in the deck that's going to discard our entire hand and then draw everything. So the idea here is that we have a load of cards. A lot of them are sly. We're going to retain this until we've got the cards that we want in hand. We're going to discard all of them, gain the benefits of all the sly cards being discarded. They're all going to play. Going to gain some block. We're going to give some poison out, and then we're going to draw a bunch of cards which are all going to stack poison very, very quickly on the enemies. And as they poison stack up, we've got those ticking 3 times instead of just once, and then we're also going to get the extra damage from Outbreak as well. So these are the key sort of combinations of cards really. We need to make sure we've got a way of putting poison on all the enemies. That's Haze. We need to make sure we can stack up the poison very quickly for individuals like bosses. That's where Bubble comes in. We've then got our powers running, so we've got Outbreak and we've got Accelerant. So we've got these 2 working in tandem. We play those powers out. We hit a Corrosive Wave, and then a big turn comes when we play Calculated Gamble. We're going to put a ton of poison on all the enemies at once. We're going to hit extra damage from Outbreak very quickly. That's going to stack up AoE, and then finally, once it comes round to their turn, all that poison we've just stacked up is going to tick 3 times. It's absolutely amazing to watch. Really fun to play. Really good combo deck, but obviously finding all those pieces is going to be quite tricky. So we did get really lucky and these all kind of fell in at the same time, but if you can get these all going at the same time, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. Just be mindful, the Doormaker, who is almost impossible with this build, is not going to be in the game for much longer, and hopefully we'll have some serious success with this in your Slay runs in sort of higher Ascension ranks as well. Alright, let's just have a quick look at any extra cards and just see if there's anything that could have worked that we didn't quite manage to pick up. Alright guys, so here we are at the card pool for the Silent. Let's have a quick look and see if there's any cards that we've missed that we could have included in our build. So if we're looking for just a basic way to get poisons onto enemies, Poison Stab is a decent shout. It's not the best, but if you get it early and you're looking to do a poison build, this is a good shout. There's better options out there. Slightly more efficient is Deadly Poison. If we upgrade that, it's going to give us 7, which is a decent amount. It's good efficiency, especially if we've got Bubble. We're just looking to get that poison on initially, then Bubble is going to do all the work for us. So Deadly Poison, I would probably put one of those in if I've not got an alternative to start stacking poisons up early on. We also have Acrobatics is one that we missed, so this is draw 3 discard one, and you can upgrade it to draw 4 discard one. Really good for any Sly builds because you are going to get a choice of cards. It's a good chance you're going to draw into that Sly card that you need. Acrobatics is definitely worth adding into your decks for that. Blur is a good shout if you are struggling to make some block, if you've got a build that really struggles. For example, you pop a Blur and then you use a Mirage, maybe you've got 24 poison stacked on the enemy, you're going to gain that 24 essentially for 2 turns. So Blur can be really effective if you're struggling for block. It's a good shout. Bouncing Flask is good, but it's a bit tricky, and it's a bit tricky for being too costed, but also it's random. So if you've got a large group of enemies, it may drop on the same enemy more than once, meaning you might like poison on some of the others. So it can be a bit of a nuisance to play Bouncing Flask. So it's not always my first pick. I'd much rather have Haze instead, and Sly Haze, just to make sure you guarantee that 4 poison goes on all the enemies. We didn't actually find any of these, but Tactician is incredible as a Sly build. It just means you're going to discard this, gain 2 energy. It's incredible if you've got lots of discard cards like Prepare. This is absolutely staple, and should put this in your build for sure. Noxious Fumes is okay if you've not managed to find any of the other powers that are helping you with poisons. This is going to slowly stack poisons over the round. If you've got a bubble and you just need a way to get poisons onto the enemies so we can start stacking it up, this is a good shout. Otherwise, I'd probably leave this one. Speedster could have worked because we've got lots of card draw in our deck. I don't think that was the primary focus. The primary focus of our deck was poison, and it was stacking up poison through card draw. So having that extra damage is nice, but I wouldn't put this in our deck that we've made. I would look at building a deck that focuses primarily on drawing cards to deal damage. In that case, I have Speedster in there for sure. Just moving on to the gold cards, we do have a couple that we could have added in. So Adrenaline is a no-brainer. There's always one of these in every card pool. This is going to replace itself by drawing 2 cards. It's 0 cost and it's going to give you some energy. So absolutely no-brainer. If you get an Adrenaline drop in, pick it up straight away. Burst is also incredible, especially when you upgrade it. So this turn your next skill plays, your next 2 skills are played in extra time. So if you're trying to stack up poison very quickly, or if you're trying to do something like using Corrosive Wave, this is amazing. So if you've got a Burst, a Corrosive Wave and a Gamble in your hand, you're going to be absolutely laughing. So we're going to be able to play that Gamble twice, draw loads of cards, discard them all, draw loads of cards again. It's just going to create a big wave of poison very quickly. But this also works for block, so if you've got a turn where we're looking at blocking a lot, because we've got a big hit coming from a boss, Burst is there to save the day. I would pick this up pretty much any opportunity I get in almost any build, just because it's incredible. As we mentioned, Corrosive Wave, insane card, lots of fun, great fun. Just like Burst, we've also got Shadow Meld. If you see this one again, make sure you upgrade it to 0. It doubles your block for this turn. It's a great card to have if you have any kind of retain in your hand. So if you're able to retain this, just to have there to save the day. Really good. Definitely worth adding in. Oops, a daisy. Let's go back to where we were. Just one more. I think there was one more. Bullet Time could be worth it. The main issue we've got with this one is it stops you drawing cards. So for me, Bullet Time's a really strong effect, but I'd probably put this in a different deck where I'm not looking to draw into answers. I'd rather one where I've got lots of cards that are very expensive and I'm trying to play them out. In fact, Bullet Time, I would pair this up with something like Master Planner. So when you play a skill, it gains Sly. So the idea there would be we'd put lots of really expensive cards in our deck. We play them using Bullet Time the first time round, and then when we get Master Planner up and running, we can just discard them to play them, and we don't have to worry about playing Bullet Time anymore. So that would be a really good combination there, but not something we're looking for in this build. Just to mention here, tools of the trade. So instead of our well-laid plans, which is helping us retain a card, this is probably a little bit more powerful. So at the start of your turn, you're going to draw, discard 1 card and discard 1 card. So that's just going to get our sly things going off straight away, but we're also drawing an extra card each turn. So for me, upgrade that to 0. Really good card to have in pretty much any deck. It's going to help you sort of shuffle through your cards, find the ones that you need for the turn, but also it's going to trigger those sly abilities as well. Now in Venom, some people might look at this and think we're doing a poison build and Venom is a no-brainer. Absolutely not. This is for an attacking build, so this is actually for a shiv build. Whenever an attack deals unblocked damage, apply 2 poison, notice on blocks as well. So we're looking to make lots of shivs and attack loads to apply those poisons up very quickly. That's not really going to synergize with what we're trying to do. In most cases, we're not actually attacking the enemies at all. We're just using our cards to draw lots of cards and apply lots of poison. So and Venom for me, great card, but doesn't work in this build. It's not something for this particular one. It's more for a shiv build. As mentioned, Master Planner could be a lot of fun. There's definitely potential to build around that. But then also another thing I would take for this, probably the last one, is this one. So Abrasive, it's a sly, 3 cost, and it gives you 1 dexterity off 4 thorns, and you can upgrade to 6 thorns. So really good for a sly deck. It's going to add as a dexterity, which is going to help keep us alive. The thorns is incredibly useful, especially if you upgrade that to 6. So on enemies in sort of floor 2 and floor 3, if you're able to quickly get this online, they're going to kill themselves pretty quickly with their multi-attack. So really good card to have. Always pick this one up if you see it. Alright, I think that's it. Let's get back to the start. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching this build guide. It's been a lot of fun making this one. As I said before, really powerful build that's going to take you up to high ascension ranks as long as you get those block cards online and you've got some way to keep yourself alive, this stacks up the damage incredibly fast and it's really, really effective. So make sure you pick up those key cards and have a lot of fun with this one. I am going to be looking to do some individual character guides going over the basic card pull for each class very soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to see anything in particular, please do leave a comment below. Make sure you click like and subscribe to support the channel, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching and take care.